Welcome to the Ergo2go podcast, brought to you by the Back School and Ability on Demand. I'm your host, Matt Jeffs. We bring you interesting people from the world of ergonomics, on-site, injury prevention, health, safety, well-being, and a whole lot more. Don't forget to subscribe below and click on the little bell in the upper right-hand corner to get the latest on the fields of ergonomics, health and safety, risk management, human resources, and healthcare right here on the Ergo2go podcast. Today's guest on the Ergo2go podcast has been and is right now an esteemed member of the Back School faculty. He's kind of our on-site health and safety specialist, Mark Woodward. Mark, welcome back. How are you?
I'm great, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's been great having you, and it's been interesting to hear your background and first your academic background in safety management and education, which is a unique perspective, not to mention your material handling background in trucking and manufacturing and distribution industries, and then coming into the workers' comp world where you're working both from the 50,000-foot view, so to speak, all the way down to the granular view and back and forth. I wanted to get into some of the thousands and thousands of safety-related classes you deliver on a regular basis now. How did that come about, and how do you keep your material fresh and interesting?
Well, it's just something, years ago when I did, more fire department and ambulance work, we had training meetings, and we needed to train on the trucks and the medical equipment and the tactics and rescue. And I just enjoyed teaching that stuff. And we taught a lot. I taught a lot to the volunteers, firemen in Missouri, and worked for a lot of ambulance services. So we just did a lot. I just really got into training. And then when I got into when I finally entered in the safety world and trucking and warehousing, one of the first things I noticed was the lack of safety meetings. I mean, it was just this assumption that everybody knew what to do, but we were having losses at the time. So the first thing I knew the first thing I did was just start having safety meetings. So at the warehouse, we would do 3 or so a day, and they wouldn't last very long, 10 or 15 minutes, but with the adult learner, that's where you want to be anyway.
Right.
So I would take big bags of candy around with me, and we would just do a real quick safety meeting. We did lots, and what I thought was really interesting is without a whole lot of major structural changes, without buying a lot of gear, without buying a lot of equipment, our experience modifier rate at that company when I started was 1.61, but fell to something like a 0.96 in the 6 years I was there. And really all I can attribute it to is lots of safety awareness, lots of safety meetings, making clear our safety rules and safety expectations, and then working with a lot of people on trying to improve the processes and the processes of moving things around and making things more efficient. So I've always been into doing safety meetings, and when the job opening came open at Missouri Employers Mutual, I hopped right on it. Like 40 seconds after it hit the website, they had my resume, because I just thought it was an opportunity to help many more industries and many more people. And so that's what's happened over the last 12 years. I've just kind of settled in, and I just like making my own schedule and getting out there and doing as many safety meetings as possible. So I did one near Lambert Airport in St. Louis this morning for a Baptist children's home with all their drivers. And then I came over to this office today, Matt, to do the podcast with you. So I'm constantly doing safety meetings, and then tomorrow I'll do a conference, and I'll do a session at the conference. And then I'll head home, and then I have 4 at the end of the week. So it's just go, go, go.
Wow. That's both enviable and a little bit horrifying at the same time.
I'm lucky. I mean, my boys, Jacob and Joe, they're 11 and 14. They're super good kids. They do what they need to do. Jennifer at home, she takes care of the house. I mean, we're just kind of used to it as a family to travel.
Yeah.
And, when I can, I take them with me. So they get to go with me, and they'll hang out at the hotel and swim while I do a morning meeting, and then we'll bug out and head home. So they're, they understand, but, it's a give and take. I need to know that, I know that I don't need to be out 5 days in a row. So it's just a give and a take. So.
I was being facetious. I mean, it's actually admirable work to be able to get out there and see the way so many different industries operate. You know, it goes back to those when we would go in as school children and we'd go out to learn how something was manufactured or something was made. It does expand one's world, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I just really think it's really neat watching these folks work and do their work and what they've learned and hear their stories and see the products that they're making. And we get to see everything. I mean, we see all types of manufacturing. We see all kinds. We insure entire hospitals. You know, it's really neat to go into the inner workings of hospitals and do risk management. And we get to see all kinds of any kind of transportation, any kind of construction. I mean, we have one of our customers goes into boilers and does work on boilers while they're still hot.
What?
And so they are extremely specialized, extremely high trained folks, and they have all the really amazing gear. And that's just one of the groups that we work with, and it's just really fun to see all the different things.
It's amazing. You know, I did about 6 years full time as the on-site therapist at a big paper plant, and it's a very diverse. You name it, they do it in there. We've got labs, we've got offices, but we've also got the full-on construction. And you mentioned the boilers. Our pipe fitters and our maintenance men just did amazing things. I mean, these people are PhDs at what they do. You walk away with a lot of respect, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, one of the things I try to be in their, you know, to think about what they do. And I realize that I am not the expert. I am just here as a resource to help them do their work better and safer. And that, you know, you just really have to listen, and you have to listen to what they say and the things that they do, and you have to study, and you just have to be very careful, because I don't want to intrude on their work, and I don't want to, you know, so I just need to be a resource for them. So, and that's really the fun part about it is just trying to help them and get them to maybe see some different ways of doing things, or what do we need to get them, what are they lacking in their job. And it's just really neat to show that value to them. And I think that gets a lot more respect. That helps get the safety world more respect, if you kind of look at it that way, that you're a resource person for that worker. You're not the expert, but we're going to learn how to help, you know?
Yeah.
So,
more on the coaching staff, perhaps.
Yeah.
Something like that. I agree, because I've always been left in awe when I've worked around electricians and the skilled trades, the pipe fitters, as I mentioned, the mechanics, the machinists, the millwrights. I would be left in awe of the level of complexity and expertise these people had, that I realized my place, and it was great. It was like, I'm on your coaching staff here, guys. I'm here to help keep you in the game, you know? So on the last few moments we have together, it sounds like you do a lot of traveling. Do you have any special hacks, traveling hacks you might be able to share with our audience in terms of how to keep oneself hale and hearty and sane in this world of constantly, I don't know, traffic jams, airports, stuff like that? What are some Mark Woodward hacks you might be willing to share with us?
My biggest thing, if you want to keep blood pressure down, leave early. I tell you what, driving into Kansas City and St. Louis almost every week, I tell you, traffic is just terrible anymore. And, you know, I just have to just think about not getting too festered up and just drive. And, you know, if you leave late and you get caught in traffic, then your blood pressure, everything goes out of whack, and you start texting and driving, and just leaving early and prepping, taking some extra time the night before to make sure you have everything you need. Look at your calendar. I mean, if you're waiting until the night before to see what you're doing tomorrow, you're too late, you know. I always try to keep my car tidy and organized. That way I know I have everything I need. It's just really, in my opinion, unacceptable to show up and realize that you left your PowerPoint projector at home, that kind of thing. So just really taking some time to prep, make sure you have your clothes. I've made those mistakes. I've left to go on a business trip and completely left my overnight bag at home, and so I've done a lot of crazy things. And so I've just tried to slow down a little bit. And another thing too that I recommend for anybody who travels a lot is please get exercise, because, you know, when you're on the road, the food's not the best, the food's not the healthiest. You have to work twice as hard to find decent food.
Yeah.
Anybody can go in and get anything deep fried, and yeah, that's great, and it can be tasty. I get it, but anymore, I have to exercise. I mean, my rule anymore is if I'm at an overnight, I'm going to be on the treadmill. So it's either that evening or in the morning, and I gotta just be more physically active. And it's starting to catch up with me. 43, I'm starting to see. We do the health checkups, that kind of thing. I start to see the cholesterol and blood pressure. So just trying to be more active, and be better at staying active at the time that I have. So at the hotels in the mornings and evenings, that kind of thing. So
sage advice. We really appreciate it, Mark. It sounds like, and we're on the same page there. I've learned, just like we were talking earlier, it's the health and safety mindset starts to seep into your life. And I'm going with the leading indicators. You start to start using the leading indicators, and it's like, you know what, I'm going to have everything packed, everything ready to go the night before. I'm going to get up a good half hour more than I need, and then just ease into the day, and and blood pressure stays low, and even the unexpected doesn't flip you out as much because you're not already in that mode. Is that a safe assumption?
Absolutely. You've got a little extra time. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You can make a change. So.
Awesome. Mark, it's been a real pleasure speaking with you. I hope we can do this again. Would you be game?
Absolutely. Let me know.
Yeah, we've got more to talk about, but this is a nice place to introduce you and our faculty. So thank you again for being on the podcast, and we'll definitely do this in the future.
You're welcome. Anytime, Matt. Thank you.
Thank you. You've been listening and watching the Ergo2go podcast. I'm your host, Matt Jeffs, brought to you by the Back School and Ability on Demand. We bring you interesting people like our faculty member, Mark Woodward, people from the world of ergonomics, on-site injury prevention, health, safety, well-being, and a whole lot more. Don't forget to subscribe below and click on the little bell in the upper right-hand corner to get the latest information from the overlapping fields of ergonomics, health and safety, risk management, human resources, and healthcare right here on the Ergo2go podcast. Until next time, let's be safe, let's be smart, and let's be helpful. Let's get to work, everybody. Take care. See you next time.